In the 1930s, a character emerged from the misty darkness to join the ranks of the great horror film monsters. He was the werewolf. He was presented as a vicious yet sympathetic creature and became a favorite of movie audiences around the world. Now, John Landis, the director of Animal House and the Blues Brothers, has written and directed a modern-day version of the werewolf tale. It is called An American Werewolf in London.
In most of the Wolfman movies that have gone before, the beast himself, the werewolf, is almost always a two-legged creature. As in Werewolf of London, when Henry Hull just walks and goes behind these pillars, and he sort of, as he comes out, he looks more and more like, you know, the lead in Grease, you know, as he comes out. But I couldn't do that because I just didn't feel like an audience would buy it now. Also, in the Wolfman, in all the Wolfman movies that Lon Chaney made, which were wonderful, I was uncomfortable with the lap dissolves, with just, you know, have Chaney sort of getting hairier and hairier, because I wanted to show how, you know, this young man who's standing there becomes this four-legged beast, and I wanted to show it on camera.
Rick Baker, who created the strange characters for the classic cantina sequence in Star Wars, collaborated with the director to create this original version.
Rick Baker has coined the term makeup special effects, because there hasn't really been this kind of thing done before. It's not just makeup, it's much more elaborate.
David Naughton, who stars in the title role, was brought in 10 months before production began, so Rick Baker and his crew could make molds of his entire body. These molds are then utilized to create the elaborate makeup which is used for his transformation into a werewolf on screen. Air passages are maintained to ensure that David can breathe easily during this painstaking and arduous process. Plaster strips are added over the latex to give support to the mold. Co-star Griffin Dunn watches with interest as the finished mold is removed with great care.
If the mold is not made correctly, it can louse everything up. It's a very, very exact science. Well, I'm back.
The mold is then filled with an alginate substance to make the full-scale model. When it has hardened, the mold is removed, and David Naughton's image is revealed.
Hey, look, see? It's a classic and traditional story I'm telling, but I'm putting it in very contemporary and real modern setting.
That setting is London. Landis and Company set up an elaborate sequence in Piccadilly Circus, a very busy part of the city.
We shot between 2 and 4 in the morning on 2 consecutive nights, and I look forward to the film playing in London, because I think people will be shocked. They'll go, how did you do that?
Sequences like this are dangerous, but the necessary precautions are taken.
Oh, well, it's all carefully planned. I mean, you plan the stunts. You practice. I mean, you don't, no movie is worth hurting someone for. I do a stunt in the movie. It's on screen, perhaps a second, where I'm hit by a car and thrown through a plate glass window. This is only because I used to make my living as a stuntman.
Hi, Sean. Hello. Are you all right? Thank you, breakaway people.
John Landis survives the stunt without a scratch, but he doesn't escape a critical commentary by the members of his crew. Working in the tradition of motion picture horror films, John Landis is using his unique sense of humor and horror to create an original interpretation of a classic horror tale. This new film is called An American Werewolf in London.